trip to the game on the line. A very big front court for Croatia. This Kukoc is a forward, but really he plays anywhere.
He's all over the court, and you have an average size of about 6'10" in the front line for Croatia.
In the backcourt, not as well known, but very, very effective. Arijan Komazec has come off the bench for more than 18 points a game.
Komazec really gives life to this team coming off the bench, does a tremendous job, and he's been starting as of late.
Up front for Russia, Fetisov, Kisurin, and Mikhailov have a big task ahead of them. They're the keys for Russia. Bazarevich and Babkov may score 40 tonight between them.
Both of those guys can really shoot the basketball, look to penetrate, and are very active.
Croatia in red, Russia in white. Russia has already played the United States. They lost by 17 last night. Croatia and the U.S. have yet to meet. This is Toni Kukoc, Chicago Bulls star. Raja posting up. Raja inside. And Russia now with an opportunity. Bazarevich speeds away. He's a great penetrator. Loses the ball on this occasion in Karasev. Croatia back with Brankovic. Raja stepped on the end line. It's Russia's ball.
Both teams going to look to push the ball up the court. They both like to run, and they like to get good shots in the open court. As we get a good look at Sergei Belov, the outstanding former player for the Soviet Union, and now head coach of the Russian national team.
A member of the Soviet team in that famous or infamous, depending on your point of view, 1972 final against the USA. Bazarevich looks to penetrate again. Now Kisurin, baseline jumper. Rebound Croatia. Alanovic, a very capable guard for Croatia. He and Kukoc will split the point duties.
If you notice the Russian defense, they really sag off the big guys to clog up the middle.
Kukoc, Fetisov got him, and 3 seconds is the call. For the second time, Croatia comes down and they don't get a shot away.
And that's very unusual for Croatia. Usually they're very effective scoring, moving the basketball. One of the things they do is they run a very simple offense, and they always seem to get what they want out of it.
The pace of this game, it looks like maybe very simple execution. Whoever runs their offense better may win. I'm not sure we'll see as much up and down as we've seen in some games.
Probably not, although the Russian team is probably in better physical condition than the Croatians from what I've seen.
And is that in part due to the 2 NBA players on the Croatian team?
Definitely so. People have to remember Toni Kukoc and Dino Raja, coming off long NBA seasons, had to take some time off and are almost playing themselves into shape as the tournament goes along.
Number 10 for Russia is Babkov. He's the shooter. Bazarevich inside for Kisurin. Still in play, still Russia's ball. And now a foul is called on Toni Kukoc. The first foul of the game.
Toni Kukoc is first.
Here we have Dino Raja. Just a tremendous basketball player. And if you look at this, is the Croatian start in games in the first 2 minutes. And look at those points inside around the basket. And Dino Raja and Toni Kukoc account for 10 of the first 13 points.
And Raja has led Croatia in scoring in 5 of their 6 games. He is over 22 points a game coming in as Bazarevich hits both to give Russia a 2-0 lead. Kukoc averaging only 11.5 points a game, but there's a lot more to his game than just scoring.
Kukoc really makes everybody around him better. He's a tremendous passer, penetrator, always looking to make that extra pass.
You jinxed him. He gave the ball away, and now Bazarevich is back, and he was hit by Alanovic.
Well, Dan, if anything, that's what happens with great passers. They believe they can make any pass, as we get a look at Bazarevich really taking a hit coming down court. But passers believe they can make any passes. Sometimes they overpass, and Kukoc can do that on occasion.
Well, we've seen how international scorers are very stingy with assists. Rarely does a player get 3 or 4 in a game even, and Kukoc has had a game of 15, another one of 12 in this tournament.
And that's remarkable in international play.
Croatia's back after the air ball. Josip Brankovic into the other Brankovic, Stoyan, and he's rejected.
What a great block.
Kukoc got caught in the air. Babkov with Kisurin. And Kisurin slams it in. 4-0 Russia. Croatia has not scored in the first 2.5 minutes of this game. Russia on top early. Brankovic is stuffed, and Russia takes it back the other way for the early lead.
It looks European, definitely European in style.
Taking a look at the scoring leaders in the tournament, finds Dino Radja right up there with, that's in 6 games, so he's at over 24 points per game.
He's absolutely dominated. No one's been able to touch him. And there we go again. See Tony Kukoc, who we talked about, 51 assists. Just a tremendous passer, sees the entire court at 6'10".
Averaging 11.5 points, 8.5 assists, 6.5 rebounds per game.
Very unselfish player. One strategy, though, a lot of teams have not employed, and the Russians may be trying to do this, is make Tony Kukoc a scorer. It's hard to turn it off and on. If you're a passer, it's hard to all of a sudden become a scorer. Make him score and sag off on the other people. And if you notice, the Russians really do like to get off the big people and make them prove themselves by hitting some perimeter shots.
And a lot of talk coming into this game how Russia was not going to be intimidated by Croatia, and some of the Croatians were privately nervous about this game, and a very good start for Russia.
I spoke with Mihail Nakic, who's the Secretary General for Croatia, and he was a tremendous player on their gold medal teams years ago for Yugoslavia, and he was very, very concerned going into this game with the Russians.
Radja, real inside-outside game with Radja and Kukoc. Now Alinovic gets in. Tough shot, still Croatia's ball off Fetisov, out of bounds. Giuseppe Girja, the coach of Croatia. A few years ago, this is a game between the Soviet Union and Yugoslavia. Now it's Russia and Croatia, and both teams have really lost valuable players because of the breakups of their two countries. Kukoc misses. Radja on the rebound, and he's fouled.
Radja doing what he does best, getting in around the basket. The standout for the Boston Celtics. Does a tremendous job just getting inside here. Everybody's going up for it, and Brankovic did a good job of keeping the ball alive to give Dino Radja a chance at the offensive rebound.
If you can hear some yelling in the background, that is Russian coach Sergei Belov, who usually plants himself right in front of us when we do a game of his. I don't know if it's intentional to block our view or not, but he likes talking and playing with the people at the scores table and the media, and a great character.
He also likes talking to us as if we're going to do something about the calls, which is pretty funny.
And he speaks a number of languages, if not fluently, at least he speaks basketball fluently. He can talk it in basketball terms in 5 or 6 different languages.
Well, he coached in Italy for several years, and he speaks a lot of Italian very fluently and tries to mix it up. He talks Italian, Russian, English, a little bit of everything.
And sometimes his facial expressions really, you don't need to say anything. Fetisov inside of a foul as Mihailov went up. Radja got him, and Radja doesn't like it.
Good look by Fetisov, drawing the defense towards him and dropping it off for Mihailov, who takes it up strong, trying to draw the foul. The one thing these two teams do is when they do go to the basket, they go hard. They look to pick up fouls, and they look to take it in and dunk it on you if you're not ready.
Mihailov gives Russia a 5-2 lead. And hits both. It's now a 4-point Russia lead. The loser plays Greece for the bronze. The winner plays the USA for the gold. Alinovic. Radja. And Croatia's first field goal of the game, and for the second game in a row for Russia, Andrei Fetisov, one of their big men, has injured his ankle. He twisted it in the last game against the USA, saw very little time in the first half, and he's down early again.
It looked like he stepped on the side of his foot, and anybody that's played basketball knows if you've twisted it, boy, that hurts.
Sometimes it may bounce back in 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes it's a few days. And obviously, Sergei Belov very concerned about this. Russia does have a 7-footer, Vitaly Nosov, but not nearly the finesse player that Fetisov is.
Here we get a look. Oh, he came down on Dino Radja's foot as he tried to block his shot. And the way he's limping off the court, I don't know if we're going to see him back in this ball game.
And it's Sergei Panov, number 14 for Russia, on to replace Fetisov. I thought we might see the big guy, Nosov, who has struggled at times in this tournament, but played quite a bit against the USA last night. Bazarevic, always looking to penetrate. Left-hander, no good. Vrankovic, the rebound for Croatia. Kukoc, he's struggling. Panov. Numbers for Russia, and Panov takes it in. Russia by 4.
Panov coming in for the injured Fetisov and making an impact right away, stealing the ball from Tony Kukoc. Tony was playing a little bit too much in the open floor. get the ball up court.
And now Alanovic brings up the ball this time for Croatia. Raja backing his man in. Blocked. Kisurin. Raja wanted a goaltend. Bazarevic. Kisurin at the other end now. Dishes inside. And Croatia the rebound. Alanovic. Raja's ahead of the field. And now Brankovic is very late coming up the floor.
If you're watching the Russian defense from here, it almost looks as if they're playing a zone defense because they're really sloughing off.
Russia is a team brimming with confidence right now. Raja again backs his man in. Again can't hit. Tipped up and in by Brankovic.
Brankovic has such long arms. When he gets around the basket, he's almost impossible to stop.
And look at Bazarevic back at the other end.
That's the one thing about Bazarevic. He will come at you. If you turn around, if you don't get back right away, he will be down there scoring easy baskets all night long. When Canada played Russia, he hurt Canada by doing just that.
We've talked about the conditioning of the Croatian players, or lack thereof in some cases. Already, when the Russians go back on defense, before the Croatians come down with the ball, they're bending over, grabbing their shorts, trying to conserve a little bit of energy. Now a foul on Panov of Russia.
The Croatian team has looked tired to me from day one. In all their games, they've played their big guns a lot of minutes. As we get a look at the ice bag on Fetisov's foot, does not look good for getting him back in the game.
Fetisov drafted by the Celtics and traded to the Milwaukee Bucks last season. Tipped up, not in. Raja. Now Brankovic. Alanovic for Croatia. A new shot clock. Kukoc will put it up for three. Raja tips it. It's out.
Russia ball.
And Russia's ball.
Tony Kukoc not feeling it right now. He has to hit those shots to keep the defense honest and open up passing lanes for his great passing ability.
Kukoc has missed all 3 of his field goals so far. Does not have a point in this game. Raja with 4 of Croatia's 6 points. Substitution for Russia. Vasily Karasev into the game for Sergei Babkov. Neither team will go more than 8 deep unless they have to. Bazarevic. Mikhailov sets a screen. Bazarevic loses it. Mikhailov gets it. And a tough bank shot gives Russia a 6-point lead.
Over the outstretched arms of Brankovic, who's 7-1. That was not an easy shot. The jump hook off the glass.
Brankovic, another player who's played in the NBA.
Played with the Boston Celtics.
Another jumper doesn't go for Croatia. Bazarevic. Kisurin now. Kisurin checking to see if he was bleeding. Mikhailov left open. Karasev. What a great rebound, but it's no basket. The foul is coming on Vasily Karasev. Boy, foul aside, what an offensive rebound.
He really stretched to get that one. Officials calling him for pushing off as we get another look at it. Pushed off with his left arm on the back of Dino Raja.
Substitution for Croatia. Vladan Alanovic to the bench and Arijan Komazets. Their secret weapon, their big-time scorer.
Not a secret anymore. He's been very impressive in this tournament. Can come in, put up big numbers, and help this team in so many ways. Decent rebounder for a small forward.
Better than 18 points a game. Kukoc again gets up in the air without knowing what he was going to do and paid for it again. Karasev, no foul. Kukoc all alone. Finally, Tony Kukoc is on the board. Russia by 4. Panov, baseline. Blocked by Brankovic. Sergei Belov wants a timeout for Russia. He'll get it at the next opportunity. Josip Brankovic hits a 3. And that's what Belov was afraid of.
This Croatian team is explosive. Once they get going, they get on a roll, and they're an offensive machine.
And their fans are into it. You can see how many of them are here at Skydome. A 3-pointer by Brankovic brings Croatia back within 1.
You're looking at one Canadian. Like 10 million others, she now owns a home. And like 5 million.
Croatia finally getting on track, and Tony Kukoc, who's had trouble passing the ball, has no trouble dunking this one.
And Here we get another look. Kukoc finding the open man, as he always does. Brankovic for the three-pointer.
And suddenly a 12-6 Russia lead is a 12-11 Russia lead. And maybe the biggest danger for Russia tonight is the Croatian fans getting into it. They were pretty quiet for the first few minutes.
Leave it to Tony Kukoc to add some excitement and get the ball rolling. And Komazets, as we talked about, came into the game and found Tony Kukoc for that dunk. He gets things going. Impact player.
Poor shooting so far by both teams in this game. Neither team even at 35%. Another turnover. Croatia not taking care of the ball. Karasev kicks it out for a three for Bazarevic. Rebound Brankovic.
Karasev had the layup. It was a nice find to get Bazarevic on the wing, but he had the layup.
Take the sure two instead of the possible three?
Absolutely.
Kukoc trying to drive. Another turnover. Now Karasev is fouled by Komazets, or he was in alone.
The one difference between these two squads is the defense. The effort that the Russians put forth defensively is much harder and much greater and more fundamentally sound than the Croatian team.
Subs coming in. Sergei Babkov is back for Russia. Take another look at the steal and then the foul. And it's being called an intentional foul on Croatia.
He was ahead of the field. The only man to stop him had to foul him. So they'll rule that as an intentional foul.
That's 2 shots and the ball.
Absolutely.
Big turn of events here in the early going. Karasev hits both. Russia by 3, and they still have the basketball. Babkov will inbound. Fetisov, one of Russia's big men, on the bench with a twisted ankle. Don't know how serious it is, but he came down on Raja's foot and injured it. Second game in a row. Kisurin left wide open and missed a three badly. Barely took the front of the rim. Now Panov with a rebound and another foul on Croatia.
Komazets let Panov get inside position and fouled him as he went up for the basket.
Now here's Russia's 7-footer Vitaly Nosov, number 15, into the game. Nosov at times will show some agility, some ability, and at other times will look somewhat lost out there. Last night hit a jump hook over Shaquille O'Neal, and you'd swear Russia had just won the entire World Championship with the way he celebrated. But he's a young guy developing and getting some great experience here.
And Sergei Bailov's really working with him. He turned down an offer to play in Spain last year to stay in Russia, continue to work on his game. He has tremendous potential, much like Brankovic of Yugoslavia, or I should say Croatia, in his build.
Panov hits both. It is 16-11 Russia. And now Panov just elbowed by Kukoc. And you heard Belov's cry in front of us here as he looked for the foul. Kukoc. Belov still going strong. Backs in Panov, and it's partially blocked. Panov has it. Babkov, he'll take it. Rebound Croatia. Josip Brankovic. Off to Kukoc. Croatia with just 11 points in the first 9 minutes of this game. Remember, they beat Canada by 31. Russia beat Canada by 7. Raja, nothing falling for the Croats right now. And a foul on Croatia.
Dino Raja going after the ball, frustrated, missing his shots early in this game, committed the offensive foul, going to the glass.
And now a little bit behind the play. Not some words, but some motioning between players on the two teams, starting to get a little upset with one another.
That foul was called on Tony Kukoc for going over the back, not Dino Raja. They both went to the glass. Kukoc picked up the foul. 2 for
Kukoc, 2 for Komazets, 1 for Raja already in this game.
And we don't normally see Tony Kukoc sit down this early in the ballgame. They cannot afford to have him on the bench or in foul trouble.
He is now out. Babkov almost lost it. Karasev, who's been a steadying influence on Russia since he came into the game. Didn't get that one to fall. Rebound, Malinovic. Komazets. Russia lucky that wasn't a three-point play.
Good fast break by the Croatians, filling the lanes. Everybody getting down court and finishing it off with 2.
16-13 Russia. Karasev.
As much as the Russians want to run, they'll push the ball up court quickly, but then they'll take their time and run their offense if they don't have something in transition.
They pull it back out now. Long jumper. No good by Babkov. Rebound still loose, and Brankovic has it for Croatia. Bazarevic getting set to check back in for Russia. Tipped out of bounds. And as the subs come in for Russia, we'll wait for the official's call. Komazets.
Good. Fill the lanes by Komazets. Good job of getting down court. And as we already talked about, he gets in the game and he makes things happen. He can do it inside. He runs the court. He can hit the three-pointer. And he can make the pass to the open man. Tremendous guy you want coming in the game for you.
Hanov and Karasev sit down. The foul was on Russia's Vitaly Nosov, his first.
The Russians are very deep. They have a lot of big guys, 6'8", 6'9". They can rotate in and give their players a breather, and then they get them back in the game again. So they can stay strong. And again, I think they're very well physically conditioned. These guys are in good shape.
Driving in is Komazets, and he's hammered on the way up. Basket didn't go. And he draws another foul. Croatia now beginning to assert themselves inside a little bit more.
Komazets showing his versatility again, going in with the left hand in traffic, getting it high over the defense.
Second foul on Nosov. He's picked them both up in the last 10 seconds. And to the line is Komazets.
You have a lot of players you call streak shooters. Nosov is a streak fouler.
That's right.
He gets them in bunches.
Well, and with him having 2 fouls and Fetisov on the bench, this could be very problematic for Russia.
Well, especially because Stoyan Brankovic, he's not the most active of players. He doesn't pick up a lot of fouls because, in a way, he kind of plays a little lazy. He's not always going after the ball. He kind of takes what he gets.
Remember, this is a team, Croatia, which, if not for the tragic death of Drazen Petrovic, would have him in the lineup as well.
That would be a scary thought.
Bazarevic driving, and he's fouled. Josip Brankovic picked it up. It's his first. Already the 7th team foul on Croatia. On the next one, Russia heads to the line.
The Russians put you in a position to foul because they push the ball up court. They will always be in the attack mode.
The guy who runs it all is Bazarevic with the ball. Always looking to get inside. Off for Nosov. Babkov open for 3. Russia not hitting right now.
Babkov is looking a little slow in his release. He's a very aggressive shooter. Plays like an American ball player, not your typical European player. Has a different style, and that time he didn't. He pulled his shot as he released and released it a little slow. Usually he's very quick on the release and has an excellent follow-through.
How about these numbers? Croatia 6 for 21 from the floor. Russia 4 for 22.
That's amazing because this Croatian team shoots 50% from the field, and that includes three-pointers.
Both teams really struggling for offense. 16-15. We're more than 11 minutes into this game. Very unlike what the two teams have done earlier in the tournament. There's one. Russia, Dmitry Domani, and it's a 3-point lead.
Domani had a great game yesterday against the Dream Team, and he also was St. Joseph's University in Pennsylvania. He was the Atlantic 10 all-freshman team, so he's got a lot of experience playing U.S. college basketball.
Komazets goes to work on him now. Raja baseline. Wants to go inside. Nobody underneath for Croatia.
The Russians are getting up on the shooters for Croatia and making them change their shots and putting higher arc in their shots. They're really bothering the shooters.
Back comes Croatia again. 18-15 Russia. Alanovic. Inside, and he hit it. Vladen Alanovic, the basket and the foul. And on a great individual effort, Alanovic has a chance to bring Croatia back into a tie. It's Russia 18, Croatia 17 in the first half at Skydo. It is Russia by 1, pending the free throw. Let's go to John McKeechee, who's standing by with a guy who knows just a wee bit about international basketball. John?
Yeah, the former coach, Dan. Thanks very much. Jack, I know you never got a chance to see Team Canada play this year, but you just talked to your successor, Ken Shields.
Yeah, I just gave Ken a call just to tell him I'd see him at the game tomorrow. He's resting up for the game, as I'm sure the players are.
Were you commiserating a little bit? Have you heard about the Heat?
I've heard about the Heat. I didn't mention it to Ken, and he didn't bring it up. But we're going to try and get together after the game. You know, I mean, if the team plays well, if Fox doesn't turn over the ball, you know, in a ball game, they're in the playoffs, everybody be happy. So everything that happens, I think, all the complaining and stuff, I think is logical coming out of a tough loss at home.
Put in perspective, 7th or 8th in the world. Is it bad news? is it good news?
John, you and I would, you'd like to be the 7th best announcer in the world, you know, sport commentator. That's pretty darn good. I hope the people of Canada realize how many great basketball teams there are out there. And I've never felt that we were in this. I mean, the teams we see playing out here now used to play for the Soviet Union. They've been doing this for 50 years. They've been working on basketball. We've only been doing it for a little short period of time.
The coach has never met a microphone he doesn't like, Dan.
Thank you, John. Jack Donahue with John McKeechee here at Skydome. What kind of a guy to play for was he?
Oh, he was a lot of fun. He really knew the game. He knew how to get to you. A lot of times coaches will just jump all over you, start screaming. I remember one game I turned the ball over and we still needed to get the ball back and get a big basket. He pulls me over, he goes, Leo, get over here. And I get over there and he looks at me and goes, you know, you're the ugliest player I've ever coached. Yeah, all you do is you end up, you start laughing, you feel good, and you come back and you make a good play.
I guess so.
Because I know he wasn't telling the truth, was he, Dan?
Well, we'll leave that for another time. Didn't you have a good, I'm expecting a typical Routins comeback here. What, did you say something back to him? Nothing?
I started laughing. We had a game to play.
Did you win the game?
Actually, we did.
Good. 18-17 Russia right now over Croatia. Russia in white, Croatia in red. Both teams have struggled terribly with their offense in the first half. A trip to the gold medal game on the line. Raja, that typical lean back as he gets set to take his man inside. This time dumps it off. Little volleyball doesn't work for Croatia, and Russia takes over.
The Croatian players talking to each other. They always do. Sometimes for North Americans to watch that, you go, boy, these guys are always on each other. A lot of dissension on this team. That's just the way they play. They start arguing. The arms are waving. You got to get used to that when you watch these European teams play ball.
And I've got to think that Russia's performance so far, they're 5-1, losing only to the United States, has really brought this team together a little bit.
It definitely has, and I've noticed they've gotten better each game they've come out.
Babkov gives Russia a 3-point lead.
Babkov needed that. He needed something easy to get his mind off the misses he's had from three-point range and get him back on track.
20-17 Russia. Komazets for Croatia.
Croatia's not really moving. Their big men are standing around waiting for something to happen.
Something happened there as Raja was fouled on the baseline, but you're right, there's very little motion. And again, Tony Kukoc on the bench with 2 fouls, and as we say that, he's getting up, getting set to check back in.
They need Tony Kukoc in the game as we get a look at Dino Raja benefiting off the penetration of Komazets, who did create something, even though the big guys were kind of hanging around the basket, just waiting for something to happen.
The Russian foul on Dmitry Domani, his first. Kukoc back into the game for Croatia. Kukoc with just 2 points so far in this game.
Raja seems a little frustrated. This is the only game he's been challenged. Normally, or I should say in this tournament so far, he's pretty much had his way. Around the basket, nobody's been able to stop him. He's come out, hit his 15-footer, and played with a lot of confidence. Tonight, he's being challenged at every opportunity.
Missed the free throws. Russia by 3. Babkov, Karasev, and now Dmitry Domani. Russia running their offense. There's the backdoor feed, and Karasev puts it in.
That was beautiful basketball. Mihailov finding Karasev on the back door. Those are the type of plays when they're executed properly, look just fantastic.
Sometimes the simplest things are the toughest to defend against. A lot of us remember that Princeton-Georgetown NCAA game when Princeton just kept running their offense and really gave Georgetown fits.
Exactly. If you execute properly, it really doesn't matter what you run, it will be effective.
There's the three-pointer and a badly needed one by Josip Brankovic, bringing Croatia back within 2. And it's like an alarm goes off and all the Croatian flags are flying. They've been pretty quiet, though, so far.
They're waiting. They're waiting for the explosion.
Karasev for Russia. He has had a big effect on this game. 7 points so far on the night, his first three-pointer. Russia by 5.
One thing about the Russian backcourt, all the players that come in and rotate in aren't just shooters. They mix it up. They can penetrate, they can shoot, they do a good job defensively.
Brankovic pushes Karasev to the ground. Belov wanted a foul. 10 on the shot clock for Croatia. Raja, and a foul. Coming on Karasev of Russia.
Russians not liking that call. Get another look at Brankovic. little rough under the basket.
4:21 left in the first half. Croatia again to the line. This time it's Dino Raja, 2 for 4 from the line so far tonight. 4 points on the night. Raja 1 for 8 from the floor.
Of all the Croatian players, Dino Raja seems the most disciplined and the most serious. He works very hard, harder than the rest of them in terms of trying to play good fundamental defense. He's always going to the glass, and he's always moving, doing the things coaches love to see their big men do in terms of moving offensively. 1 of 2 again. Now back at the other end, Russia grabs another offensive rebound. Domani. After that free throw, the missed one by Raja, he was shaking his head as he was running back down the court. A lot of frustration for Croatia. Kisurin. Tough shot off the glass, but another offensive rebound for Russia. They shouldn't be getting this many. Everybody's going to glass, and they have good overall size, and these guys are very agile. They can move, and they're active. They're looking to go to the glass. Foul up top is on Josip Brankovic. Russia in the 1-and-1. They'll head to the line. It has been a rough and tumble first half. Not pretty, but for Russia so far it's working. They lead Croatia 25-21.
I haven't looked at North American cards.
Croatian community has been out in full force throughout the World Championship. I think the Croatians and Greeks have done the best job of really coming out to root on their country. Look at the size of that flag. And just literally too many flags to count here at Skydome tonight. For Tony Kukoc and company, struggling right now, trailing Russia by 4 in what has been a sloppy first half.
One of the big reasons that Russia is giving Croatia such a hard time is the rebounds. Offensively, Croatia in total is out rebounding the Russians, but the Russians have doing a great job, especially in the last 5 minutes or so, going after the offensive glass, preventing Croatia from running their transition game.
Russia already with 6 offensive rebounds on maybe the best rebounding team in the tournament, as Andrei Fetisov still looks on. The shoe and the sock are off now. The ice still on the ankle. That's not a good sign at all.
One of the best ways to stop a team that wants to run is go to the offensive glass. If they're worried about you getting the rebound, you're going to keep them inside, and they're going to be less likely to take off on you.
Now a 6-point lead for Russia. Let's see if Croatia can get on track. Tony Kukoc has really struggled so far in this game. Brankovic into Raja. Mihailov has done a nice job on him. Now they collapse on him, and a foul as Raja couldn't get the shot to go. Croatia's so much bigger than Russia up front. What are the Russians doing so well on Raja?
Well, what they're doing, they're collapsing on him. They're playing him loose. They're letting him get the ball, and then they're all collapsing. And you've got about 3 or 4 guys, 6'8", 6'9", that are pretty strong. They're coming up, and they're not reaching. They're keeping their hands up. That time, Raja did a good job of leaning in and initiating the foul. But normally, the Russians are playing straight up, arms outstretched. And a lot of times, players that have good size forget that if you're 6'8" or 6'9" and extend your arms, you're pretty big.
There's a big factor. Russia 10 for 10 from the line. Raja misses another. He is just 3 for 8 from the line in this game. Really struggling. And Russia leads Croatia by 6. Babkov, 8-point lead.
You don't want Babkov to get heated up if you're the Croatian team. He can really stroke the basketball.
At the outset of this tournament, Croatia seemed the lock to be the silver medalist. As the tournament wore on, as impressive as Croatia was, people really began to notice Russia more and more. Is this an upset right now if Russia were to beat Croatia?
I don't think so, as Brankovic gets called for traveling, doesn't like the call. But I don't think this is an upset if the Russians do win this game, because they have gotten better every time out on the court. They're working very well together, and they have some pretty good players that a lot of people think may have a chance of playing in the NBA and are already stars in Europe.
Russia has turned the ball over 4 times in this game, Croatia 10. As Babkov misses a long 3, rebound to Mihailov.
One of the things we saw today in the Canada-Puerto Rico game, these are very tight rims, and the rebounds are coming off long, which gives the offensive rebounder an advantage unless the defense really steps back to block out.
Kukoc looking a little unsure of himself. Raja puts it up. Again missing. Croatia 7 for 24 from the floor. Not much better from the line. They've just gone cold.
Very big surprise that Dino Raja would come up cold like this. He's just been absolutely outstanding.
There's another example. As Raja really swings the elbows around after the whistle had gone. There was a foul on Russia before that.
Kisurin went after the ball, trying to take it away from Dino Raja. Here we see Mihailov shoots the shot. And Raja grabs the ball with his right hand and then clears Kisurin out with the elbows.
And I guess no matter how much you swing your elbows, if you don't hit anybody, you can't pick up a foul.
Well, the referee's going to start watching for that. You want to be careful because they can call an intentional foul like you tried to hit somebody, even though you didn't. So you really have to be careful on that.
Russia by 8. As cold as Croatia is, you know they're going to pick it up at some point in the second half. And Russia really wants a little more of a cushion, I would think.
Absolutely. You have to take advantage of this period for the Croatians. They're struggling. You really have to capitalize on that. And I think the Russians are smart enough to do that. Sergei Belov right now talking to his troops, pointing to his head, think. You have to concentrate. See what's going on. Push the ball up court, then work it around. Don't rush your shots.
Look at the people at Skydome. Last night, more than 27,000 watched. The biggest crowd ever to watch a basketball game in Canada. And the total tournament attendance is a FIBA record, 225,000. You can thank Canadian fans, but you've also got to thank Croatian Canadians, Greek Canadians for coming out and supporting their teams. And a lot of people are really picking up the flavor of basketball over the course of this 10 days.
This is giving basketball in Canada a tremendous boost. People are starting to realize there's a lot more basketball than the NBA. International basketball is a fun style of game. It involves a lot of emotion when you have the different countries. A lot of fun for people to get out here and start cheering and waving their flags. I think this has been a real eye-opener for Canadian basketball.
And if Croatia were to win this game and go on to meet the United States in tomorrow's final, you can say two things. One, it would be packed, and two, the crowd would be at least half in favor of Croatia, and that's something the U.S. players really haven't experienced so far in this tournament.
No, they have not been the underdog. And you know, as you said, these Croatian fans will be out in full force if their team is in the final.
We'll get into this a little more later, but is there any way either of these teams could beat the U.S. tomorrow?
No,
okay,
absolutely not.
There's some analysis from the OS. How many years until somebody gets competitive with the U.S. when best plays best?
I think it's going to be about 5 years. I think that's the number that I'm most comfortable with. It's going to take time. The impact of having the dream team being involved is good for basketball. Despite the blowouts, I think it's good. It's going to raise the level of play, and it's already raised the interest, which is just going to help basketball around the world.
Raja again just 1 for 2 from the line, 4 for 10 on the night. 29-22 Russia. If Croatia's hitting their free throws, this could be a tie game. Inside the final 2 minutes of the first half. Bazarevic gets free. Elected to pass off and gave it away. A break that Croatia's looking for. Raja again. Can't put it in. No foul this time. He's 1 for 10 from the floor. Came into the game a 69% shooter in this tournament. Domani misses. And an obvious foul. They're not calling it. Karasev came over and just swatted his man. Swatted the ball out of bounds as well. No foul, but the ball does go over to Croatia.
Dino Raja getting a break. He's going to sit down and think about it. He has to calm down right now. He's facing a different type of defense. He hasn't seen this before so far in the tournament. Just has to relax, let his shots come to him.
Kukoc, a long three. Didn't get it, but he is fouled by Dimitri Domani. And as so many players do for Russia, when they're fouled, they don't like to call. They look over to their coach, Belov, to see if they're in trouble or if he agrees with them.
And Coach Belov is talking to his players saying, hey, come on, you got to step up and help out. He was referring to Mihailov, number 11, who went around the screen and faded back instead of stepping up and pressuring Kukoc and giving Domani some help.
And now, as there's a lot of discussion between the two teams, you take a look at Đurića, the coach of Croatia. A jump ball is being called. 1 minute and 17 seconds left in the first half. We had offsetting fouls. Domani picked up one for Russia.
Must have called a foul somewhere on the screen for Kukoc.
So it's a jump ball. Brankovic for Croatia. Russia by 7. Looking for the other Brankovic. Stoyan inside, can't find him, and now Kukoc. Looks like he's going to go one-on-one. There's a screen. Kukoc leans, misses again. Offensive rebound, Croatia. Another miss. Croatia can't hit a thing. Russia's back. Bazarevic, Karasev. And it's a 9-point lead for Russia.
Sergei Belov pumping his fist in the air. This is Russian basketball at its best. Push it up court, take advantage of defensive rebounds, get the ball up court. If the teams don't get back, they're in trouble.
Croatia by trailing by 9.
Raja looked very frustrated on the bench. He's sitting there talking to himself. He has to get his act together. Just relax. His shot will drop as long as he keeps taking good shots and gets a little bit more movement.
Perhaps the final possession of the first half for Croatia. Again, not a lot of motion on the floor offensively. Jumper doesn't go by Zuric. And Russia will have a chance to extend their lead to double digits.
All the guards are dropping in for the Russians to help out on the rebounding. That's very important to help out their big men.
Last second shot, no good by Bazarevic, tipped off by Croatia. And a very, very sloppy first half comes to an end, but Russia has to be happy. Russia leads by 9. Kukoc and Raja really struggling tremendously.
We have not seen them play like this so far in the tournament. They have to regroup and come out and play the way they're capable of playing for them to have a chance to win this ball game.
A trip to the gold medal game is on the line. Dino Raja really struggling. Tony Kukoc has not had a strong first half as well. And Croatia trailing by 9, a trip to the gold medal game on the line. The United States is waiting. Slow night so far for Raja and Kukoc. How frustrated are these guys right now?
Right now, they're very frustrated. Dino Raja 1 for 10, Kukoc 1 for 5. That's a horrible night for these guys. These guys usually shoot tremendous percentages. And also Kukoc, 0 assists, 4 turnovers.
Kukoc, there are his shots. He got one inside, but has missed 4 from the perimeter, if you want to call it. And Dino Raja's really is not going to be something he's going to want to look at after the game. Made 1 and 9 misses. On top of all that, he has missed 6 of his 10 free throws as well.
And he's taking shots where he normally likes to take, around the basket, medium range jumpers. That's his strength. He's really struggled, and it's unfortunate because they need him to win this ball game.
Can Croatia come back from a 9-point deficit?
Oh, they can come back. These guys are explosive. Don't rule them out. But the Russians, they're very comfortable right now. As long as they don't relax and keep pushing it, they'll be okay.
And a game with the United States tomorrow awaits. That's the gold medal game. Greece will play the loser of this game in the bronze. A look at the first half statistics. The shooting, Russia really came up. Croatia just 7 for 28 from the floor, and the turnovers also a big factor.
Turnovers definitely a factor. And also when you look at the fact that neither team is shooting a great percentage of the free throws. Russian team doing a good job of getting the free throw line and converting.
Croatia has not trailed at the half in this tournament. They are a perfect 6-0 so far. Russia's 5-1, losing only to the U.S. Croatia in red, Russia in white. Russia's injured big man, Andrei Fetisov, not back on the floor. Injured his ankle in the first half. Raja missed. 1 for 11 now from the floor. And a push-off is coming on Stoyan Brankovic.
Give Mihailov a lot of credit. Dino Raja put the ball on the floor, pulled up for his jumper, and completely had to change his shot because Mihailov was right there, hand in his face, trying to block it.
And now we receive word it is a sprained ankle for Andrei Fetisov. He is gone for the night. Russia's been getting by without him. A small lineup on the floor. They've been doing a great job on Raja, and a great move there by Evgeny Kisurin gives Russia an 11-point lead.
Kisurin's a solid ball player. Again, one of those guys that can go inside, outside, loves to penetrate like he just showed us. Plays for Udine in the Italian league, which is a very strong league.
Sergei Belov told John McKeechee at the half, this is a young and experienced team. As Brankovic dunks it home and a foul. And finally, Croatia doing some damage inside.
Not a good foul by Karasov. Brankovic had the ball under the basket. 7-1, you knew he was going to dunk it. If you do foul, you have to foul so hard that he cannot get the ball off.
And from that point, really, Karasov, there's nothing he could have done to keep Brankovic from dunking that ball.
At that point, you just have to let him do it and get the ball back.
Croatia still cold from the line. Brankovic leading all players with 8 free throws. 8 rebounds, excuse me, in this game. Kisurin misses the long jumper. Russia still has it. And now Karasov accidentally hit Mihailov in the knee, and it bounced out of bounds to Croatia.
Sergei Belov looking at Karasov. Come on, let's go. What kind of pass was that?
Karasov leading all scorers with 11 off the bench for Russia. With Croatia to come back, Tony Kukoc has got to get going. Again, a lot of standing around by Croatia on offense.
I think the defense that Russia is playing is confusing them because it almost looks like a zone because the players are so far off the guy they're covering.
Look at the quickness by Bazarevic, Domani, and a foul. Dmitry Domani, again, the play set up by Sergei Bazarevich, and Russia has a chance for a 12-point lead.
Great hustle by Domani getting down court. Here we see Bazarevich blowing by everybody as he usually does with the dribble, and Domani stretching to make that layup.
Bazarevich's 4th assist of the night. He is a complete player in the backcourt for Russia.
Well, what I loved about what Belov said at the end of the half, or during the halftime, was that just fast break, get the ball up court, put the pressure on Croatia to get back, and that's going to take away from their offensive game.
Size against quickness here, and right now quickness is winning. 35-24 Russia. Alanovic, rebound Domani. Bazarevich again. And Alanovic got him. Another foul on Croatia. Right now, Croatia cannot contend with the speed of Sergei Bazarevich. 3 fouls on Mladen Alanovic. The concern on the face of Giuseppe Girgja, the head coach of Croatia.
This is the first time they've been in this situation in the tournament. They're not comfortable, and they have to try to get out of this.
Do you think the Croatian players may have come into this game overconfident?
I don't believe they were. As I said, I talked to some of the Croatian officials before the game, and they were very aware of how well the Russians are playing.
Couple of chances for Russia. Croatia cleans the glass. Mladen Alanovic with the ball. Kukoc posting up the smaller Domani and screaming for the basketball. Now gets it.
But look where he's getting it. He got it outside the three-point line. That's not where you want the ball with your back to the basket.
Great pass inside. And a great block by Evgeny Kisurin. Tony Kukoc with a beautiful pass, but Kisurin blocked it, and Russia has the ball.
Good hands by Kisurin. But give Domani credit. He's covering the taller Kukoc. Will not let him get position. Pushed him outside the three-point line. That's great defense.
Another foul on Croatia. Ivica Zuric picks it up. His first. 4 fouls for Croatia in the first 2.5 minutes of the second half.
Sergei Belov working the bench, up and down, talking to the players, yelling out instructions.
Domani. Tough baseline jumper from almost behind the glass. And a travel is called on Kisurin. Belov points to you and says, hey, you know that was a bad call.
Sergei Belov looked at me and said, you saw that one. And I did. Kisurin had the ball, and it was pulled from his hands. Could have been a foul, but they called the travel.
I think Belov might wind up in TV when he's done his coaching days. He likes getting over here by the headsets.
He's very animated. Fun to watch.
Another miss by Croatia. And again, Russia just quicker to the ball. 4-on-1. Domani. Oh! And a back pass from Mihailov. Maybe a little bit too fancy.
That's a shot Domani has to take. He had Mihailov and Kisurin following. They would have had the rebound had he missed a shot. Take the shot. Do the simplest things first.
Russia still by 11. Croatia with 24 points in 23 minutes and change in this game. They scored 92 against Canada. Domani thinks about a long-range jumper. Now Bazarevich. Kukoc backs off. It's a good matchup. Domani on Kukoc, and Domani beats him again. Dmitry Domani has 6. Tony Kukoc has 2 in this entire game.
They can work Tony Kukoc. He's not a great defensive player, and by attacking him, you're going to make him go backwards. If you can shoot it like Domani can off the dribble, you can really put a lot of pressure on Tony Kukoc.
Disbelief in the faces of some of the Croatian players and their fans. Brankovic drives. Again, Croatia just cannot hit. 8 for 34 from the floor. And they trail by 13. Russia with the lead and the ball.
They look very tired. Dino Rogers had his head down running up the court. And Tony Kukoc is just huffing and puffing all the way up and down court.
If you're wondering why they haven't called a timeout, in international basketball, each team only gets 2 timeouts per half. Not as many as you get in North America, so you've got to be careful with him.
Look at Bazarevich. He's not even worried about his man. He's coming right down to help out on Dino Rogers.
And Croatian coach Giuseppe Girgja knows there's a TV timeout coming at the next whistle. Hoping that no further damage is done before that timeout. It's okay. Bounced off Alanovic over the timeline, and Bazarevich brought it back. 10 on the shot clock. Mihailov. Karasev leads all scorers with 11. Now Bazarevic turns the corner on Alanovic. Rebound Kisurin. A new shot clock for Russia. And a foul on Alanovic. And Russia simply with more energy and more desire right now, as Alanovic has picked up his 4th. Russia beating Croatia to the ball constantly. Foul trouble for Croatia, trouble on the scoreboard as well. Sure. Croatia trailing Russia by 13, and one of their starting guards, Vladan Alanovic, has just picked up his 4th foul. We still have 15 minutes to go, and Croatia's reeling right now.
Kisurin did a great job of getting the offensive rebound, and as in his attempt to go back up strong, Alanovic reached in, committed the foul. Kisurin's been doing a great job in the absence of Fetisov, picking up the slack, going to the glass, and hitting some big baskets underneath.
An explosive team, Croatia, which is capable of scoring 100 points out every time, has scored 24 points in 25 minutes.
Normally, they're well into the 70s by now.
Kisurin backs his man in. Squeezes around him.
And the official called a 3-second call as Kisurin was trying to set up a shot. We get a look at Don Chaney and Rick Majerus scouting for the U.S. team. I spoke with Don Nelson after Canada played Russia, and he was concerned about this Russian team, and now I'm sure he's even more concerned, especially after their match last night where the Russians played exceptionally well, and now they're handing it to Croatia.
Foul on Russia as Zurich went up, and you could see in last night's game between the United States and Russia that the U.S. wasn't hot dogging. They were working out there, and really it was a close game for the first 25 or 30 minutes.
Good spin move, and Mikhailov coming over, fouls with the arms. Actually, that was not a bad defensive play, even though he got called for the foul. He had his hands up, and it looked like he was jumping backwards, trying not to commit the foul.
Mikhailov, his 3rd. At the line for Croatia, Zurich. And look at the trouble they've had from the line in this game. And they miss another one. 7 for 17. Russia 37, Croatia 25. Vitaly Nosov getting set to come into the game for the Russians.
Free throw percentages like that are very uncharacteristic for either of these ball clubs.
How about Mikhailov? 39-25 Russia, their biggest lead of the game. It's 14. This is when you would expect Tony Kukoc to take over.
It's very difficult for him because the passing lanes are being clogged up, and he's not going to beat these Russian guards with his quickness off the dribble.
That might help. Danko Cvijetikinen with a 3-pointer from the corner to bring Croatia within 11.
That would be a great benefit for Croatia if some of the other players picked up the slack and helped Kukoc and Raja get going.
And you've talked about the conditioning of some of the Croatian players, especially Kukoc and Raja, coming off NBA seasons. The summer is the time to rest. Now they got to crank it up again. And this is the 7th game in 10 days for both of these teams, but maybe Croatia's starting to feel it.
Well, those guys play some heavy-duty minutes. I remember talking to Rick Fox earlier in the tournament, and Dino Raja even told him, their teammates with the Celtics, he said, hey, we're kind of playing ourselves into shape.
39-28. Babkov back into the game for Russia. One of their best shooters gets his man in the air, draws the foul, and scores. The foul on Cvijetikinen as Sergei Babkov has silenced the Croatian crowd.
Great hesitation fake. Babkov going on a dribble, hesitating, drawing the foul. Very good form on his shot. Always keeps his balance, elbows straight, and puts his hand in the basket, which would create a perfect foul for him.
Babkov with 7, Russia 11 of 12 from the line, and it's a 13-point lead, 41-28.
Homozets, 3-pointer,
41-31.
Homozets has been putting up some big numbers for Croatia. They need him to help out at this time,
including that basket. Croatia has 3 field goals in the last 15 minutes. And now a foul on Russia. Karasev has picked up his 4th.
Karasev that's his 2nd call in this ball game, going to the offensive glass. Here he gets called for pushing off under the basket. He used his body, and you can't do that on the offensive rebound.
42-31. No basket. A foul coming underneath, and now the Croatian fans back into it.
Nosov getting the foul. Again, he gets his fouls and streaks, and he's starting a new one right now.
Vitaly Nosov with his third, and again with Fetisov out of the game with a sprained ankle. Russia has very little size behind Nosov. Battle underneath for it. Croatia comes up with it, and a block by Nosov, and they're going to get him for his fourth. There's that streak fouler again.
He's on a roll. And Komazet's doing an excellent job helping out for a guy his size, about 6'5", 6'6", does a good job of rebounding. And again, the hesitation fake, get the defense up in the air. And Nosov not too pleased with that call, or himself.
I think maybe more with himself. He's a guy who you can see because of his youth and really his effort that he puts out there. He really wants to help this team. He really wants to establish himself as one of the top players in the country. We've seen him in warm-up, even when they're just running layups. Russia, he's always looking at the floor between layups. He's got very little confidence, it seems. And really, there are some aspects of his game which are quite impressive, and he could develop really well.
He definitely could. And again, with Sergei Belov helping out, you know that he will develop into a fine ball player.
Both free throws. Now 42-33 Russia. Babkov. Domani's had a nice night. Tough shot. Rebound, Russia. Nosov has it. Left hand. Too strong. Komazets for Croatia. Sergei Belov is screaming for a timeout. Komazets off the glass. Battle underneath, and it goes against Croatia. It's Komazets with the foul. Now, Belov has backed off on the timeout. We're one whistle away from a TV timeout. They come at certain times, predetermined times in the game, and Belov has backed off now, not wanting to waste one. The foul is on Komazets, his fourth.
The game is starting to get very physical now. The Croatians are trying to get back in this game. They're feeling frustrated. There's a lot of elbows and pushing going on underneath the basket.
That foul put Russia in the bonus, but they could not convert. Croatia's down by 9. The fans are back. Physical play inside. Zuric up and in, 42-35.
Zuric has been doing a nice job for Croatia, picking up the intensity. He's throwing his weight around right now. He's been banging Kisurin, trying to get physical with everybody to help his team pick up the intensity.
Let's see how this young Russian team responds. How about like that? Sergei Bazarevich, one of the veterans.
So good off the dribble. He looks to penetrate at all times. And the great thing about it, he doesn't just look to drop it off. He can finish every time he goes to the basket.
Bazarevich, really one of the few veterans on this team and a stabilizing influence. Zuric, good position. Kisurin, good defense, and an offensive foul is called on Zuric. No basket, as Kisurin just stood his ground. Timeout on the floor. Sergei Belov's team has responded, and the Croatian flags aren't waving as much as we've seen them. Russia by 9. Exciting action here at Skydome. Russia still hanging on. They lead by 9, but Leo, Croatia is showing signs of life.
And Zuric has been a big part of that. Very physical player, not the smoothest of ball players. Kind of awkward, but he throws his body around. He's not afraid to create something and really pick up the intensity by being physical.
And there's Nosov again. Rarely picks his eyes up off the floor. A young guy looking for some confidence. And again, I go back to last night when he put in a right-hand hook over Shaquille O'Neal. I have never seen emotion like that on a guy from a team who was down 15 points at the time, but he could be a big help to Russia down the stretch here.
Well, he's got great long arms. And again, he has a good nose for the ball. Doesn't always get it done, but he tries to get to the right place.
That's him with the ball now, and he kicks it back out. A new shot clock for Russia. Babkov. Good scorer. Kisurin.
Tony Kukoc really has to try to use his height and help out the Croatians on the backboards.
Kukoc with just 2 points and 2 assists. 4 turnovers tonight. Nosov, well, he stepped over his man, but he took a step. Took an extra step. Belov doesn't like the call at all.
That was a tough break. Nosov was driving the baseline, and Komazets of Croatia fell down right underneath his feet. And in order to avoid stepping on him, Nosov got called for the travel.
So Croatia has a chance to close the gap. Raja and Kukoc have been held in check tonight. Zuric again busts into the key and turns it over. Now wrestles it back, but fouled his man. as he grabbed it away from Sergei Babkov.
He's playing aggressive basketball. Again, not the smoothest of players out there. And at that time, a little frustrated, lost the basketball, and almost ripped the arm off. Babkov trying to get it back.
And this is not the guy you want to send to the line. Russia with a couple of really good shooters from the line, and Babkov is one of them. Now the Croatian fans trying to get back into it. Hinder Babkov a little bit. No problem.
You're not going to bother him when he's in the zone. He will make these free throws. No problem.
Russia has received better backcourt play. 1 of 2 for Babkov.
Why does that always happen?
You are the jinx.
Every time you talk about what a guy can do, what shot he can make, what free throws he can do, they miss.
Here's what we do. You tell me who's going to make the next shot, and I'll slap some money down on who's going to miss it. Russia, better job off the bench.
21 to 15.
A lot of that Karasev, who has 11. Now Kukoc driving, and again got up in the air, and only once he was up in the air did he figure out what he was going to do with it. But Raja took care of it that time.
Well, good finish by Raja, but that's the most dangerous thing you can do as a passer is to leave your feet to make the pass. Almost any pass can be thrown just the same without leaving your feet, because all you're going to do is get in trouble if that guy isn't open, unless you can hang in the air like Michael Jordan.
That is the first basket for either Kukoc or Raja here in the second half, and we're in the second half of the second half. Babkov hammered by Dino Raja, and he may be slightly shaken up.
Well, Dino Raja came right at Babkov, trying to block the shot and hit him with his knee. And here Raja showing his offensive skills. A hard foul with the elbow, not the knee.
And Babkov may have felt it on the right arm a little bit. He's back at the line. Russia by 8. This is not an overwhelming lead. Croatia is fully capable of getting back into this game. Still 9:25 left. And Babkov may be a little bit affected by the collision and misses again.
The other thing to remember, the Russian team is a young team. They don't have a tremendous amount of experience. And Croatia has some, with Dino Raja and Tony Kukoc, they can get back in this. As we saw, Fetisov, ice and in his street clothes, not ready to play. He will not be back tonight.
Tough break for them. A 6'10 player with a lot of agility. Maybe headed to the NBA as a member of the Milwaukee Bucks. Three-pointer, no good by Komazets, but a foul on the play. Kisurin can't believe it, and an international ball. Komazets is going to get 3 foul shots out of this.
Kisurin not too happy with the call, as is Sergei Belov. Actually, he's talking to Kisurin. Why are you going to foul a guy in three-point land? Kisurin got him with the body down low. If anything, just put your hands up, put a fence up for him to shoot over.
Komazets has been an outstanding free throw shooter in this tournament. With that, he is now 23 of 25 from the line, 92%.
What's been impressive here for Croatia is some of the lesser-known players that helped them get back into this game.
Komazets looking for 3. 7 for 7 from the line, 12 points on the night, and it's suddenly a 6-point game. 9 minutes to go. In the past, Bazarevich has been the guy when Russia needs a big basket to get it for them. Now a foul on Croatia underneath. Kisurin driving and drew a foul.
They're taking the ball right at Tony Kukoc. Whoever he's covering is looking to put the ball on the floor, and here he picks up his 3rd foul simply because he's not a great defensive player. He can be had, you can attack him, and you can take advantage of his slow lateral foot speed.
That's what it is. That's what keeps him.
That's what it is. Most European players, as good an offensive player as Tony Kukoc is, even in the NBA, he struggles defensively because most European players don't move laterally as well as North American players do.
Kisurin hits both cleanly, and it's 48-40 Russia. The winner gets the U.S. in the gold medal game. The loser settles for the bronze medal game, a matchup with Greece. Canada played both these teams in the tournament. As a three-pointer for Arian Komazets. He has 15, and Croatia's back within 5.
He's a tough player. I really like his game. He's always looking for his offense, and it usually comes within the system. He's not going one-on-one all the time. He takes what he gets, but he's always looking for it.
Komazets with 5 more points than Raja and Kukoc combined. Bazarevich on Alenovich. Alenovich has 4 fouls. Kisurin. Rebound Croatia. Listen to the noise here at Skydome. A huge contingent of Croatian fans. Now Belov will take that timeout again. We're approaching a TV timeout in just a few seconds. So we'll have to see if he still wants to use it.
Komazets going right at the defense. Here we see his three-pointer from their last possession. He's on a roll right now. Feed the fire.
And Belov must want a timeout, because we were a few seconds away from a TV timeout. He's still going to use it. Russia leads by 5. We're in commercial. There's plenty of entertainment here at Skydome for the fans. There's some of it. An amazing dribbler, Tanya Crevier, is standing by with John McKeechee.
And this is how good she really is. Tanya Crevier from South Dakota. Tell me, where did you play basketball?
South Dakota State University, and then I played women's professional basketball for 3 years. 2 years in Iowa, 1 year in San Francisco when they had a women's pro league.
Harlem Globetrotter fan?
Well, I never really saw them as a youngster, but I did learn from a guy by the name of Crazy George Shower, and he is incredible.
And so are you.
Well, thank you very much. Glad to be here.
All right, Rod.
I played with McKeechee yesterday, a little 3-on-3, and I'll tell you what, he needs all the help he can get.
You would trade McKeechee for Tanya Crevier any day?
In a heartbeat.
Hey, it's a three-point game. Croatia finally starting to connect from the line. Again, another test for this young Russian team. Kisurin wants to dump it off. Forced to keep it. Good defensive pressure now by Croatia, really for the first time in the game. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Babkov way outside. Rebound, Croatia. Tony Kukoc. 7.5 to go. Russia by 3. If Croatia hits, this place will explode. A foul on Kisurin of Russia. That's
Tony
his third.
Kukoc can penetrate against Kisurin. Kisurin is a big guy at 6'8". He can't stay with Kukoc. Kukoc is very good off the dribble. Not against the smaller, quicker guards, but against forwards, he usually beats them every time.
And Kukoc to the line. He's 11 of 16 from the line in this tournament. Missed, tip back in. Dino Raja. 10 points on the night. Russia now leads by only 1.
If you look at the faces of the Croatian players, Raja and Kukoc are starting to show a lot more confidence, and they have to thank their teammates for bailing them out of a difficult situation.
Karasev, Russia's leading scorer, but he has 4 fouls, getting set to check back in. Kisurin puts the ball on the floor. Spin move inside. No basket, but a foul. It's Dino Raja with his third.
Kukoc did a decent job. Had his hands up against Kisurin. He was trying not to foul, but Raja came over from the weak side and got Kisurin with the body.
One thing we were talking about before the game, the United States played the early game here. It was a packed house. Some fans did leave, obviously fans of just the Dream Team, and what a game they're missing here. They're missing one of the closest and best games of the tournament.
Well, a lot of people, including us, thought that this would be the best game of the tournament. These two teams have a tradition of basketball, a lot of history, battles between them. And tonight wasn't going to be any different. It's unfortunate that fans did leave because they're missing a great ball game.
I really think in the Canada-Russia game and the Canada-Greece game, as Kisurin picks up the offensive rebound, plus this game, we've had 3 of the closest games here right on CTV, and great games to call.
They have been. It's been a lot of fun.
How does Kisurin get in there for such an uncontested offensive rebound?
The first thing you always do is somebody always has to take the free throw shooter. Nobody bothered to box off Kisurin.
Bazarevich, a lot of contact. And it's a defensive foul. Alanovic is out of this game.
That was a tough break for Croatia. Bazarevich was penetrating. It looked as if he dipped his shoulder and initiated the contact. But instead, he got the call in his favor.
Mladen Alanovic has picked up his 5th foul and is leaving this game for Croatia.
Brankovic is coming in for him. And he started out the game pretty strong.
Also for Croatia, Arijan Komazets, number 6, has 4 fouls. For Russia in the game, Vasily Karasev, number 4, has 4 fouls. As Bazarevich falling backwards, hits his first free throw to give Russia a 3-point lead.
Those are tough shots to make. When you're shooting your free throws, you want to stay on the line, stay with the shot till you see it goes in. He does it again and makes it.
Russia 18 of 23 from the line. They lead by 4. C.A. Tikkanen for Croatia. Into Raja. Mihailov has his hands full with Raja. Raja right hand hook. Missed. Rebound, Kisurin. But a foul is called underneath. Nobody knows who it's on right now. Players on both teams looking at the official, waiting for the call.
Kisurin gets the foul, and Tony Kukoc is going in line. Sergei Belov, his hands on his head, not enjoying that call.
Fourth foul on Kisurin.
What's interesting is the Russian defense seems to be really tightening up. They had so much success with playing loose and taking up space, and now they're getting tighter and opening up passing lanes.
Kukoc misses the free throw, and after it kind of raised his hands to the sky as if to say, what can I do? What's going wrong?
He's talking to himself right now on defense.
51-47 Russia. 6 minutes, 10 seconds to go. Bazarevich, 10 on the shot clock. Mihailov, now 5. Rebound, Raja. Back is Brankovic. We have not seen Stoyan Brankovic, the big 7-footer from Croatia, I don't believe at all in this second half. Raja's fouled by Mihailov. That'll be his fourth. 3 of the Russian players on the floor, Karasev, Kisurin, and Mihailov, have 4 fouls.
The Russians are getting away from what got them the lead. Mihailov reaching in that time. The entire game he's played with his hands up. Did a good job of pressuring Raja, forcing him to shoot over his hands, outstretched arms, and now he's reaching for the ball. Don't change what you were doing when it was working.
Raja hits 5 of 12 from the line in this game. Now 6 of 13. Croatia's within 2. Challenge after challenge for Russia in this game. Can they hold the lead? Babcock.
Nice shot by Babcock, going right at Raja, and at the last second jumping backwards and froze Raja right in the spot.
And you were telling me earlier, maybe there's no Russian player who plays more like a North American than Sergei Babcock.
He really does. He does not fit your typical European mold when you watch him play.
Tough player, likes to drive and puts up strong shots in traffic. Now a lot of traffic underneath, and Bazarevich has it for Russia. Again, they respond, leading by 4 with the ball. Bazarevich by his man, and a foul. Sergei Bazarevich. A great hesitation move then to the basket, and he drew a foul as well.
That was an incredible crossover dribble by Bazarevich. Almost made Brankovic trip and fall, and in an effort to recover, he fouled Bazarevich. What a move.
Third foul on Brankovic. Timeout on the floor. Croatia wants to talk it over. The young Russian team is hanging on, leading by 6. They want a date with the United States tomorrow in the gold medal game. Great night at the Dome tonight. A lot of Croatian fans here, but I think most of this crowd who came in neutral may be siding with Russia. Everybody loves an underdog.
Absolutely. The Croatians have been talked about all along as being the second best team to the U.S. And the Russians have come along, surprised everybody, playing better each game, and they've kind of drawn the fans to them.
And I know you liked what happened last night when Russia played the USA. A lot of times you'll see European teams maybe lay back a little and get set for the next game, this game, which is the big one, but they played the USA nose to nose last night.
Especially the Russians. Here we get a look. Raja and Kukoc only 14 points, 6 points in the second half. Free throws, Croatia really struggling from the line, although picking it up as of late. But the Russians have been known to drop big games, just to lay down, especially knowing they're playing a game like Croatia tonight. But last night they went out there and Sergei Belov told his guys, hey, play against these guys. They put their pants on one leg at a time, and you can beat them or at least give them a good game.
Three-pointer from the corner. Svije Tikkanen. Maybe the best outside shooter this team has, brings Croatia back within 4.
Kukoc getting bailed out again, leaving his feet, going in the air to make the pass.
Kukoc and Raja combined 4 for 20 from the floor. Still, Croatia only trails by 4. Karasev. Players on both sides on the floor with 4 fouls. Bazarevich. Croatia doing the job outside in the second half. Bazarevich sneaks inside.
What a move. It didn't look like he had any room to get the ball up. He was almost under the basket, but just managed to sneak it in.
He has 13. What a backcourt for Russia. Inside now, Raja. Makes a pass, puts up a shot, and hits. Dino Raja warming up.
Soft touch by Raja going up. High arcing jump hook. And that ball just rolled inside the rim.
Inside 4 minutes to go. The underdog, the Russian team, leading by 4. Bazarevich again, this time couldn't turn the corner, but he drew the foul.
Bazarevich does such a good job of dipping his shoulder, trying to get the contact on the defensive player. Here we're getting a look at it. As he penetrates, he ducks his shoulder and he stays so low to the ground that the officials seem to give him the edge every time he does that.
And Bazarevich to the line where he is 5 of 5 tonight and 35 of 40, make it 36 of 41 in the tournament. He is single-handedly getting the Croatian team in foul trouble. Josip Vrankovic has 4, Arijan Komazec has 4, and Vladan Alinovic has already fouled out. Bazarevich hits again, and it's back to a 6-point lead.
Sergei Belov encouraging his troops to get their hands up, move their feet on defense.
You get the sense Russia can only hold on for so long, but they're within 3 minutes right now. As finally Tony Kukoc hits a 3, and it's 60-57 Russia.
Not a bad time for Tony Kukoc to find his hand and get this team going.
That three-pointer gives Kukoc a total of 5 points on the night. He has had easily his toughest night of the tournament. Babcock, less than 10 on the shot clock. Kisurin baseline, right hand, rebound, no basket. An over-the-back foul on Mihailov. And he is out of this game. The 5th foul on Mihailov.
Sergei Belov beside himself. Mihailov going to the offensive glass, following up Kisurin's miss. Give Dino Raja credit. He did a good job of keeping body on Mihailov. Here we see Kisurin going up with a jump hook. And Dino Raja had the inside position. Even though from this angle it didn't look like there was much of a foul, the officials almost always call that if you tap it over somebody from behind.
Mihailov out of the game as Raja hits the first. It is 60-58. Vitaly Nosov back into the game for Russia, replacing Mihailov.
This is the sign of a great team and great players. Raja struggling the entire game, making his free throws down the stretch. Kukoc not being able to hit, knocking in a 3 down the stretch. That's the sign of experience and talent.
Croatia has never led this game. They are now within 1. Russia at one point had a 14-point lead, and every time they need a basket, it is Sergei Babkov delivering it.
And he does it so well, coming right at you and then falling back at the last second, making it virtually impossible to block your shot.
Raja wants the ball. Nosov covering him. Raja has the ball. Babkov coming down to double. Raja kicks it out. A 3 would tie it. Raja with an offensive rebound. Double team. Kukoc just made a 3. Now drives. Right hand. Partially blocked by Nosov. Frantic action as 2 players go to the floor, and it's a jump ball. Vitaly Nosov with some big plays for Russia.
Great block by Nosov. Going up, Kukoc had to change his shot, going from left to right, but Nosov is right there with a big block and doing a great job of hustling, diving on the floor to ensure Russia's getting the ball, at least an effort from the jump.
Second block of the night for Nosov. If Russia wins this game, their players will sleep tonight. And they have the late game here. The USA is probably back at their hotel watching this game right now. A couple hours less rest for whoever wins this game as they get set for the Dream Team tomorrow in the gold medal game. Nosov wins the jump. 62-59, Russia with the lead and the ball. And now 2 minutes left. Babkov. This one wouldn't go. Foul underneath. It's Dino Raja. Raja with his 4th. And now a trio of Croatians with 4 fouls.
And the youngster, Nosov, give him credit. He's banging into the glass, working as hard as he can, trying to create position for himself. And Kisurin as well. The 2 of those guys are underneath the basket, working, making Raja almost have to pick up both of them since he's their primary rebounder.
Kisurin, a 70% free throw shooter during this tournament. Russia does have one weakness, and it's Nosov from the line. Just 7 of 20 during the tournament. They want to keep him away from the free throw line if at all possible.
Raja really gave Kisurin a hard push in the upper back to get that rebound.
Will a physical player in Europe become even more physical when he comes over to play in the NBA, a guy like Dino Raja?
Actually, I think that it takes him a little while to adjust to the fact that the NBA is a lot more physical. It takes them a while to adjust, but once they do, I think they tend to enjoy it because it gives you more freedom as a player.
1 of 2 for Kisurin. 63-59 Russia. Croatia with the ball. Komazets. He has 4 fouls. Now drives. Jumper off the glass. In and out. Rebound Russia. Nosov and Raja go flying. Nosov may have hurt his back a little bit. Less than a minute 30 to go.
Tough break for Komazets. That shot was practically all the way down the basket, and it just came back out.
And all of a sudden, we're in the final couple of minutes of this game. Karasev beats Kisurin, and Raja hammered him. That's his 4th. Sergei Belov wants an intentional.
That looked like that was pretty much of an intentional foul. Raja went up, realized he was in trouble, he's going to foul, and he came down hard.
Raja's 4th.
Look at that. Good penetration. And Raja coming down hard on Kisurin.
Belov's reaction.
And that's the sign for intentional foul as he's showing the scorer's table and us.
And it is Raja's, as we have a correction on the scoreboard now. Dino Raja has picked up his 5th foul, and Croatia's best inside player is out of this game. A devastating blow to Croatia as Kisurin hits the first. Russia by 5 with another shot to come, and Raja on the bench.
Brankovic, their tallest player in the game now, and they really, really need Kukoc to pick up and help out on the glass.
We are on the verge of an upset. Russia by 6. Brankovic with the ball. Croatia seemed destined to play the United States in the gold medal game. Russia has other ideas. Brankovic. Komazets, and it's a 4-point game. We're in the final minute.
How about Komazets? Kukoc is looking for Komazets to carry the offensive load right now. They're going to him as their go-to guy.
Kukoc with only 5. Croatia trapping now. Bazarevic could dribble through anything. Karasev almost walked. Bazarevic again. 15 on the shot clock. Russia will use as much as they can. Bazarevic misses. Rebound Croatia. Brankovic. Just 25 seconds left. Croatia still trails by 4. They need 2 scores. Komazets. A 3. No. Rebound Russia. Knocked out of bounds off Russia. As 2 Russian players were there, couldn't grab it, and Croatia has the ball. Timeout. Croatia wants a timeout. 15.9 seconds left. Croatia trails by 4.
Correction, timeout.
Dino Raja is out of this game for Croatia. Just 15.9 seconds left. Croatia trails by 4 in the battle for a spot in the gold medal game, and Croatian fans have not forgotten Drazen Petrovic.
What a tremendous player he was, and could you imagine him on the floor along with Kukoc and Raja?
What a team that would be. What a team this is even without Petrovic, but Russia came into the game, perhaps buoyed by their performance last night against the USA, with a ton of confidence. Can they hold off Croatia in the final few seconds? Komazets, a clean block by Nosov. Now Croatia just can't convert inside. Time is running out as Kukoc misses. Russia has the ball. Russia, just 4.6 seconds left, and barring a miracle, this young, inexperienced, underdog Russian team has got itself a return date with the USA tomorrow.
And that last sequence we just saw was exemplary of this entire ball game for Croatia. They just haven't been able to put the ball in the basket. Here we see Komazets going up, Nosov making a great block.
Pretty gutsy block. You can see Karasev just standing there. They don't want to pick up any cheap fouls.
Even Kukoc couldn't finish it off. They just haven't been able to buy a bucket. It's been a tough game for them. Low shooting percentage. They've really struggled. The surprising thing is they've almost seemed to just coast through all their opponents, rarely breaking a sweat. Very calm, even though they look fatigued because they weren't in great shape. They just seemed to coast. They didn't have to worry that they got tired. Tonight, they've worked from the beginning to the end.
Bazarevic punches his fist into the air. He is now 38 of 43, 89% from the line in this tournament. One more. And it's a 6-point lead. He missed it. Still 5, but Croatia needs 2 scores. They're not going to get it. Russia's going to let the clock run out. The three-pointer will count, so the final will be 66-64. But take a look at the jubilation for the Russian team. A shocking win over Croatia. The Croatian players are in disbelief. Toni Kukoc and Dino Radja have been eliminated from gold medal contention. Russia, 17-point losers to the USA last night, will get another crack at Dream Team in the gold medal game tomorrow. Russia wins by 2.
A shocker in the Sky Dome. Sergei Belov and his Russian team upsetting Croatia 66-64. Another Sergei, the Harvey's player of the game, Sergei Bazarevich, the quarterback, the catalyst. Bazarevich leads the way. The Russians are on their way to the gold medal game tomorrow against the Dream Team.